Hi, I'm Michelle, and we're going to interview some members of the Governor's Academy to see how sustainably they live on campus and get their opinions on what they think they can do to be better. We hope with this video that we can give members of the community advice on how to live more sustainably on campus. So we're here at Mrs. Hamovit, and you said you had a garden?
Yes, I do.
And how often do you say you water your garden?
It depends on the weather, but really not terribly often, only when things start to look really, really dry.
That's good. So you save a lot of water by not overwatering.
I just let the rain take care of it.
There you go, natural water. The light bulbs in your house, would you say they're efficient light bulbs?
Yes, the majority of them are LED. They're probably, guilty as charged. I probably have a couple of the old-fashioned ones. Just waiting for them to burn out.
Right, so switching over, you think would save a lot of energy.
Yes, in fact, and I just read an article, there's a company in Massachusetts that's making LED bulbs in the shape of the traditional light bulb.
There we go.
So I'm going to buy those when those are available.
So in your opinion, what do you think you could do to be more energy efficient? And overall more sustainable?
Well, I like to kind of think of the big picture. I try, when I buy a product, I always ask myself, is it necessary? Do I really need this? I won't buy things that are made of vinyl because I know that producing that vinyl uses up polyvinyl chlorides. But I look at packaging as well. If I can buy a product in less packaging, I'll do that. I never buy bottled water. I don't. I only use refillable, my own Nalgene or metal bottles. We conserve energy. We never turn our heat above 68 in our house, even when it's really cold. We just put a sweater on. I drive as efficiently as possible. Oh yeah, I try it. Yeah, and I only do my laundry when my washer's really full. So I try to save water that way.
Very good. So you're gonna live a very sustainable life.
I'm hoping so, as sustainable as possible.
Thank you for interviewing.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're cute.
We have with us here Cassie Clavin, a freshman proctor at the Governor's Academy. Cassie, how do you feel the freshmen are sustainability-wise?
I a grade. I would say like a D+.
How do you think you are if you were to grade yourself?
I'd say like a C or C+.
Okay. Okay, so you gave yourself a C+. Why do you think you're a C+?
I take really long showers every day, probably like excessively long. But I always turn my lights off when I leave my room.
That's good.
And I use a reusable water bottle.
Okay, and why do you think the freshmen are a D?
Because they take even longer showers than I do, and they never turn their lights off when they leave their rooms, and they don't recycle, and they leave water bottles everywhere.
They just don't know to do that, or is it just because they don't care?
I think it's both. I don't think they care, and I don't think that they know how bad it is for the environment.
Okay, is there anything that you think you can do personally to improve the sustainability of your freshman dorm?
I think maybe like putting up signs that tell them to, or remind them to turn off their lights when they leave their rooms, and making sure we have recycling bins everywhere so that they can recycle their water bottles.
Thank you.
Quick question about your sustainability. Do you take more food in the dining hall than necessary, or do you eat it all?
I usually take a lot of food from the dining hall because I think I'm really hungry, and I grab 2 or 3 plates and put all my food on them, and I go walk to the table, and I end up not eating it all and putting it in.
So the eyes are bigger than the stomach sometimes. That can happen. But, that's really bad because it wastes a lot of energy, wastes a lot of water to clean your dishes and making the food. And overall, you just want to save food. There's hungry kids out there.
I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, that's one thing you could think of. Well, I understand you recently upgraded from a smaller vehicle to a large V8 truck. Is that true?
Yeah.
Were you thinking about the environment at all when you made that decision?
No.
See, that's what's really tough, with the whole fossil fuel situation. You're just burning a ton in that big truck.
I never thought about that.
Yeah. As a member of the Governor's Academy, do you feel as if they stress the environment enough, or do you think it just falls through the cracks?
At times, I think it falls through the cracks.
Yeah, that's the thing. People are bogged down with academics and sports, and something like the environment, it's all we have. 2 tips for you, Luke. Smaller lunches Think about the environment when you make decisions.
Okay, Pete.
Here with Mike Messina of the Cottage Dormitory. How's it going today, Mike?
Doing well, Pete.
It's good to hear that. I understand you're an Xbox gamer. Is that true?
Indeed.
Do you unplug your Xbox when you're done using it?
Can't say that I do, Peter.
What about your iPhone charger?
No
Laptop?
No.
Ooh. See, Mike, if you want to live a more sustainable lifestyle, if you just unplug those when you're done using it, you'll save a ton of energy.
Thanks, Peter. Appreciate the tips.
Do you turn off the lights when you leave a room?
I always do, Peter.
Well, that's great to hear. I love to hear that. And are these light bulbs LED?
I don't believe the school provides LED lights for the dormitories, no.
It's unfortunate the school does not.
Yeah.
They run much more efficiently. And at lunch, how much food do you grab on average? Enough that you finish it all, or do you take
I always
too much?
finish everything on my plate, Peter.
Well, that's good. See, you live a very sustainable lifestyle. Besides the laptop chargers, I like the direction you're headed.
Thanks, Peter. Appreciate it.
It was a pleasure meeting with you, Mike.
Indeed. Pleasure as well.
Here with James Leary, 2014 day student, Seabrook, New Hampshire. How's it going, James?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I have a question to you about your car rides to school. Do you ever get lonely? Wish you had someone in the car with you on the long ride?
You know, as a matter of fact, I do.
Yeah, well, that could actually help you in both ways. One, you could have someone to talk to, and two, you could live a much more sustainable lifestyle. You really reduce your carbon footprint and eliminate fossil fuel burning.
Just so happens it's exactly what I'm aiming to do.
Yeah, so I say we look forward to getting you a carpool person in the future.
I would love to. I got plenty of room in the man van.
That's what I'd like to hear. Another question. Water bottles. I'm sure you drink a lot of water every day. Hydrate yourself. Big lacrosse season, you want to be hydrated. How many water bottles do you think you go through a week?
A week? Ooh, probably 20.
20. You know, you could replace all those water bottles with just one of these.
Oh, wow.
Think of all the plastic you will save. This is an infinite amount of Poland Spring right here.
My man van is actually cluttered with empty ones of these, so it gives me
Futures?
more room. A lot of futures.
Yeah. Well, James, in order to help your carbon footprint, I think you could plant a nice maple tree like this one right here. Here with Mike Ducharme, class of 2014, Penn State. How's it going, Mikey?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good. I have a few questions about the environment I want to ask you.
Okay.
All right, what do you drive for a vehicle?
Ford F-150.
Ooh, it's got to be tough on gas.
Up about 18.2 miles per gallon.
Really, that's pretty efficient for a truck, but still the carbon fuel, the emission, it's absurd. Have you ever thought about replacing your truck with one of these?
I've not.
Give it for a spin. Try it out. Try it out.
We're back with Michael Ducharme. Michael, I have a question for you.
Okay, Sarah.
Do you
Shoot.
print your assignments or do you email them to your teachers?
I email them to my teachers.
That's awesome because you're saving trees and trees act as carbon sinks and you're also saving fossil fuels. Nice job.
We're here with Connor Black of the Governor's Academy, class 2014. Do you mind if I ask a few questions about your water usage?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Alright, so how long would you say you shower per night?
Per night, I'd probably say I take one 20-minute shower in the morning
20-minute shower. Now,
with a 25-minute shower at night.
okay, do you think that there are ways you could possibly reduce that time?
Get out quicker.
Yeah, maybe like turn the water off while you're shampooing? Ever thought of that?
You know, have to,
Shave a
but
few
yeah.
minutes off now. As a part of a whole dormitory, how do you think your whole dorm does with consuming water?
We're pretty wasteful, to be honest. I mean, a lot of times the shower will be left on with nobody in it.
Really?
No towel, nobody's there.
And do you guys think that maybe you're consuming too much water by doing that? Do you ever think that
Yeah.
maybe by turning it off you could save a few gallons of water per night? 200 maybe?
That probably makes sense.
And your sinks, that you mentioned earlier they were leaky?
Yeah, we do have a couple leaky sinks. We have one where you turn the faucet, water comes out this way and that way.
And it doesn't get put to use, does it?
No,
No. And do you
not a little bit.
so don't you think that's kind of wasteful as well? So maybe putting in a work order could.
I've put many work orders in.
Yeah.
But
Okay, we're back with Connor Black. How many 24 bottle cases would you go through a week of plastic water bottles?
Well, my roommate Andrew goes home every weekend, so he picks up
probably around 2 packages of those per week.
And when you're done with those water bottles, what do you do with them?
We throw them on our ground
And
as
they just
beaches.
they don't go into a recycling bin?
We do have recycling bins at the Ingham Country Club, but they are out towards the patio and kind of a walk, so we don't really use them.
So far, after our interviews, we've noticed some themes, and we think that we can give 5 tips that we think that everyone on campus can do as a whole to be more sustainable. The first tip is shortening shower times. It seems like a lot of people seem to take long showers just leisurely, and we think that if you either turn off your water while you're shampooing or things like that you can do to save water, or just overall shorten your shower times, then we can save a lot of water as a community. So another thing you can do to be more sustainable would be turning your lights off when you leave the room. Leaving them on is just wasting energy, and if the light isn't needed, then it shouldn't be wasting it. Also, what you can be doing is unplugging chargers and appliances while they're not in use, because even though it might not be on, it is still consuming energy. And I think that if we all make a small change like that, then it would add up to a great amount of energy saving. So that was one tip, and then another tip that we can do to be more sustainable is carpooling. So a lot of day students at the school drive to school on their own, even though they might be from the same towns, and they each of their own individual cars burns carbon, burns CO2 when it burns gasoline, and it emits more pollution into the environment than needed. If you were to carpool, we could eliminate the amount of vehicles on the road, therefore eliminating the amount of pollution that's emitted into the atmosphere.
Last tip of the day, don't be like Luke Clancy. Only take as much food as you can, and yeah, that's very important because it saves water use, and harvesting the food is real tough with fossil fuels. So if you can eliminate that, it'll be overall better on the environment. Thank you.
So their cries for help will not be in vain. We can't let them suffer. No, we cannot turn away. Right now, they need a helping hand. No, someone lie. We are the children.